Come on. There we go. I believe that's me. I didn't want to use these. I want to use these. Okay, we're up and running, and let's change this camera. Hey Barb, how you doing? That camera's going. How's everybody doing tonight? Setting up my rings here. I'm gonna need a few of them. I need one more color. Gonna try and get some work done on this Finnegans Wake flag. For reference, this is what I'm working off of. The blown up picture of a corner of the business card of Finnegans Wake, which was a bar in Louisiana. Hey Astrid, how you doing? And I've been working on it for way too long, and I need to finish it. And since the saddlebag project, I have to lace stuff up and then attach the chainmail to the saddlebag. Right, that's like, I'm on the last step. It's over there at the other table. So, need a project to work on tonight. Figured it might as well be this. And we'll see where we can take this. See how much work we can get done. If any. Try not to knock over stuff while I'm here. Alright. So how is everybody doing tonight? It is the end of an era for me. I had an air compressor, and it was given to me by my grandma when I first started driving 25 some odd years ago, right? And today the tire light, the low tire indicator came on. So I went and checked, and I had 3 tires that were low on air, and I got the little compressor out, and I got through 3 tires. I'm sorry, I got through 2 tires before the compressor crapped out on me, and I ended up, the 3rd tire had like 25 PSI in it. We had a weather change, so the tires just dropped their pressures, as a tire will do. And I was filling them up, but that last tire finally killed the little compressor my grandma gave me 100 years ago. So I felt kind of sad, because I have carried that little compressor with me every duty station I ever went to. You know, all over the world. Well, the United States anyway. So I had to go and get a new one right away, because we have big changes in temperature quite often. And I'll get the indicator light popping up fairly quickly. It did have a good life. So, and it worked harder than most compressors, I would imagine. So I was impressed by its longevity. I knew it was coming. So that was and of course it happened right as I was trying to get to the post office. So I left my house, or I had planned on leaving my house in time to get my that jelly cube I was working on the other day, the 12 by 12, out to who I made it for. And I was going to have time to drop that off at the post office and then head out to go pick up my kid. And of course, I had to stop and deal with the flat tire. So I had to go to my neighbor who had an air compressor. I went to one neighbor and they didn't answer their door. So they said that they were in the garage and didn't hear the doorbell ring. And next time I should just walk in their garage and borrow their compressor. Which, you know, just to mess with them, I might just go borrowing stuff. Because their ring camera's on the other side of the house. They have a side door in their garage. So I might just go borrow stuff, because they come over all the time. They're in my garage all the time. And just take random stuff and just leave it in my garage for them to find and just be like, yeah, I borrowed it. You told me I could. You irresponsibly gave me permission. That's not my fault. So, anyway. That was the excitement for my day. I did pick up I was actually early picking up my kid, so it all worked out. I can't complain. And then I came home and I made it's a package meal, right? It's called white chicken chili. Faye rules, yeah. Exactly. So I made some white chicken chili from a package, like one of the McCormick's spice packs. I'd never made it before, but it turned out pretty good. So I'm satisfied. I wonder if I should just move that. I'll worry about it later. This is a small section I would have to fix. So, what normally happens is I'll work on this during the live, and then either I'll notice while I'm working that something needs to be corrected, or when I have time to sit down during the day, I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, let me go ahead and change all of that out that I just did last night. But I think that's actually what I need to do. What am I looking at here? Looking at this dropping off. Like right there. Okay, so let me mark this. We'll fill all that in. Need stitch markers like in crochet? Yeah. There are 10,000 better ways to go about making an inlay than what I have done here. This is a proper prior planning prevents piss poor precision. Prevents piss poor performance, right? So I failed to properly plan for this inlay, and as such, it has taken me way too long to do. I have done several revisions to it. Right, like adding all the black outline on the letters, that was a revision. Changing out this color, the yellow, it was a lighter gold color when I first started, but I did not order enough rings at that time. I did not know how many rings I needed to order. I just ordered the 3 colors that I would need and started it out. And at first it was fine. It went okay, but then I ran out of gold rings, and then I ordered some more, and I got a different color when I ordered more, and I ended up ordering a bunch of this goldish yellow, orangish yellow here, and need to leave rings behind where you take the borrow item from. Yeah. So here you go. So we'll be like, where is my snowblower? Oh man, I should grab their snowblower. That'd be so funny. It's supposed to snow this week. I just had their snowblower over at my house. But yeah, another thing that you should do before making an inlay is you should know how many rings of each color you're going to need. You should map out your whole inlay on graph paper or Irregular Grid Painter is a program that people use. And you should do the prep work on your inlay, because if you don't, what's going to happen is the time you would have spent doing your prep work is going to double what you end up correcting, which is what's happening to me with this project. So I sit on the struggle bus and struggle through it. Not last year, but the year before, I finished up a Raiders inlay for a buddy of mine, and I sat on stream and I looked at it and I changed some stuff and added some stuff and just kept doing that until it was finished. And it took way longer than necessary, but it did get done. And so I'm going to try and duplicate that process with this. And so far it's gone okay. So this was a bar that I frequented in Alexandria, Louisiana, that is no longer there, and which makes me sad, but because I was stationed at Fort Polk and I didn't particularly care for Fort Polk or being stuck in the barracks, I would drive to Alexandria. Me and some friends would go to one of the restaurants there, because there really is not a lot of restaurants, or there wasn't when I was stationed at Fort Polk. The city outside of Fort Polk is Leesville, and there's not a lot of restaurants there when I was there. And we shall learn from your struggles. Yes, please do. Don't be like me, folks. Your inlay sits on your desk and weighs in your way to encourage you to finish the pile. Mixed and sorted the piles now several times. Still only half done after 3 months now and counting. Hey, half done is pretty good, actually. That's not terrible. But yeah, so I drive to Alexandria from Fort Polk, and we'd all go to the mall, the restaurant, catch a movie, and then we'd end the night at Finnegans Wake, and then there's a hotel across the street that we'd crash at before we drove back the next day. And that is if we weren't running off to the lake or trying to get down to New Orleans. That was the thing. I was in Louisiana. I got there after Mardi Gras. When I first got there, I deployed to Iraq for a year, and then I got back after Mardi Gras. And then when I got back, Hurricane Katrina and Rita came through, so we couldn't go anywhere because everywhere was closed. And they still hadn't... there was still a moratorium on people from Fort Polk going to New Orleans for Mardi Gras the following year. And they put us out in the field during Mardi Gras anyway, so I never did get to go to that. You love my work, thank you. I am trying to make cool stuff. There was a really cool piece that came from Mother of Dragons. She made shockingly, of all things, another dragon. But it's ridiculously cool. Who from Texas is trying to call me? Not right now. So that is I bring up that piece. That's the latest, just stunning piece that I saw today. In the chainmail community, it's nice to be part of all the groups and everything. Yes, people post, like I'll post in the group that I admin, and then I'll post in the big chainmail group. And you know, most people do that. They post to multiple groups, right? So you see the same thing like a couple times in one day, right? Which is fine. But what I love about it is that once a week, once every couple of days, someone will finish an insane project. You still haven't gone to a proper Mardi Gras? And your mom lives near Baton Rouge? You even lived with her for half a year. Yeah. You and me both. Never been to Mardi Gras. Right. I think I have this corrected now. Let's take a look. Oh, here's another tip, right? So I decided to use European 6-in-1 18 gauge 1/4 inch rings, right? European 6-in-1 is the name of this weave. It just means that it is a historical medieval weave, and it just means that 6 rings go through each ring, right, as you weave it. And I chose 18 gauge 1/4 inch because that makes a nice European 6-in-1. The issue is, right, it does not pixelate well. So I made a bad decision in picking out what ring size I wanted to use for this whole thing. If I make any inlays in the future, which is questionable as to whether or not I will be willing to do that, I would use like a tight European 4-in-1 weave, like 18 gauge 5/32. I did see the rose that Lady Evil Metals made. I didn't know that was her name. That was a pretty cool rose. Sculpture bewilders me. I can't do it. I'm sure I could if I put my mind to it, but there are some people who do sculptures with chainmail, and it's ridiculous how good they get their stuff to look. So maybe one day I will do that. Trying to think. People have made dragons. There's a lot of dragons. I saw someone made a bee the other day. Little pigs, ducks, and 24 gauge 1/16 is a good AR for 4-in-1. I'm gonna let you work in that ring size, John. That's too small for my eyes to see. But yeah, if you want to make really small inlays, do they make 24 gauge 1/16 anodized rings? Like, it may be a good ring size for 4-in-1, but if they don't, like, you can't make an inlay unless you've got some color. All right. So oh, well, sometimes that happens. A ring will just break. Usually when you opened and closed it too many times. And that is what just happened. Most of the time, aluminum's pretty forgiving. It'll open and close multiple times without issue. You're very impatiently waiting for your rings to come in. They were supposed to be here yesterday. Oh, you made your... Spiders are another common sculpture. I'm working on a big flag. It's just a big piece of wall art. I, too, am impatiently waiting on rings. I shouldn't have ordered them, but I did. I ordered rings to add more to this cube, right? And then, let me actually get up and grab this. Ah! Knocking everything over with my fat butt. I've got this thing. I gotta take it apart a little bit. It's very tight. These are 12 gauge 3/8 rings, and I bought some 1/2-inch rings, some 12 gauge 1/2-inch rings to try and... I want it to keep its shape, but also I want it to stay taut. So we're gonna add some 1/2-inch rings and see if we can't... The reason we're adding rings is because there's edges like this that are unfinished, and it's too tight for me to finish them, right? I don't know if you can see that. So I'm gonna loosen it up with some 1/2-inch rings, and then try and get that to keep its shape. And so but for Renee, this is what I'm working on. It's a big chainmail inlay with a Celtic knot thing in the back. Where do I get your rings from? Whatever you do, please don't order from Temu. Don't let me tell you what to do. But I have a solution for you. So in the link tree in my bio is the Mailworks app. Inside of the Mailworks app is a bunch of resources for new and veteran chainmail artists. There's a list of suppliers that all make chainmail rings. They all manufacture rings for chainmail inside of there. And I would order from any one of those people. These rings are from the Ring Lord. And some of them are very old. But there's Joshua DiLiberto, there's Tom's Ring Shop, there's West Coast Chainmail, there's Joe's Chainmail. Avoid drop shippers for jump rings. They are going to be very low quality and not meant for chainmail. Yeah. Same thing with Michael's Hobby Lobby. Yeah, Metal Designs is a good company to order from. I think that they are going to be a premier company to order from here in the future. Yeah, Chainmail Joe. Chainmail Joe actually has a big beginner's kit that you can get off of Amazon or from their website. But yeah, so download the Mailworks app, go to the suppliers section, and order rings from some of those people. Now you got to buy some from Temu for your comparative research. Dude, don't even bother, dude. It's going to be trash. And also listed in the resources of the Mailworks app is, yeah, it's free to download for anyone wanting to start out. There's a link to my store where I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. So please do check that out because that stuff's awesome. But it's free. It's got all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started. Where people who make chainmail hang out. Where to find chainmail suppliers. An artist section for chainmailers. And Astrid, I will add you as soon as I get back to my computer to do stuff. You've mostly switched to metal designs when you can't get a color from Joe? Nice. You're very welcome for all my advice. Buying from someone who is legit ring maker will be worth the money. Most of the time. I have tales. I have stories. But we won't disparage anyone's good name right now. Maybe later. So, I have had rings from suppliers that led to a lot of heartache and headaches. But for the most part, most of the time, the quality's good to go. I will tell you this. The sign of a good ring manufacturer is when the rings are ready to go out of the bag. You don't need to clean them up. You don't need to worry about burrs. So you don't have to throw them in a tumbler to deburr them or wash them off. They are ready to go out of the bag. How can you tell the ring quality? Meaning, what does differentiate one from the other? Okay. So anything you order off of Temu is going to have like no tension to it. It's going to be dead soft. It won't. You'll make something with it, and you'll just be able to rip it apart, right? When you're looking at rings, right? See that kerf right there, that cut? Okay, you don't want any burrs around the edges. That's a sign, right? Dirty rings, rings that leave gunk all over your hand. Some of that's unavoidable, like aluminum will make your hands dirty. Bright aluminum, not anodized aluminum, right? It just makes your hands dirty. So those are kind of the signs of someone who's paying attention when they're making rings. Another good indication is that the closures match up when you close the ring. There's not overlap. There's not one end over the other when you go to close it. Because that happens. All makes tons of sense. Good. So, and, you know, ring manufacturers are not perfect. They make mistakes, but I'd order from anyone on the list for the most part in the Mailworks app on the list of suppliers. So, and that's, you know, the app is not all-inclusive. It doesn't have everyone. I'm building out my artist section more and more. I think I'm gonna change up the format of that a little bit. So I would like to have like a large collection of artists on there. Right now I only have, maybe a dozen. I don't even know if I have that many, but alright, you're currently seeing whose rings you can age harden, so still got to get Temu, Walmart, and Michaels to test. Hey man, if that's what you're doing with your life, I encourage you to follow your heart, buddy. Like, if you have a specific goal in mind, okay, that makes sense, but I don't know if I'm smart enough to be able to do what you're talking about, so don't let me tell you what to do. Alright. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Where are we at here? Come on, rings. Come here. There we go. So, things I don't have on the app right now are like instructions for, I need to add how to get irregular grid painter, right, linked to it. I wonder if I can do that. I don't know. I would like to take irregular grid painter and modernize it. I know a lot of people have been interested in that. I want to Like, I don't care if someone else does it. I just think it needs to be done to make making inlays easier, right? Like, we're in the 21st century now. We should have modern tools to the modern chainmail, or for the modern chainmail that we're making, I think. Who am I, though? No one. But I got to add Scale Mail Designer. The app is free. It is completely free. Like Scale Designer but for rings? Yes, like Scale Designer but for rings. And I want to be able to I want people to be able to take a picture, upload it to the app, pick what weave they want it in, and for the app to spit out, how many rings of each color that they need, right? The completed design of the image, I think that's more than reasonable. And it's probably going to cost money. Right? But I think that the big issue is nobody has the money in their own pocket to do it. And even if we took up a collection in the chainmail community, right, and had someone design it, it would be very difficult to walk them through the process of everything that we need. So, maybe one day we'll get it. Do you believe you have ordered 20 gauge 1/8 from everyone on the list in the app currently? So, what am I doing here? Oh. So, was everybody's 20 gauge 1/8 satisfactory, John? All right. Okay, so that's what we're talking about, Renee, is currently the only program that exists is called Irregular Grid Painter, and I always thought it was called Inlay Grid Pattern. For like 20 years I thought it was called this, and then someone corrected me like just 2 months ago. It's called Irregular Grid Painter, and I don't know how available it is to everyone. I know it's not available to many, right? And the calculator to quantify how many rings that you may need depending on the size, the weave, the ring size you choose, right? You would get some of that information from Irregular Grid Painter, but the issue is it's a very outdated program, and you have to plug in stuff manually, and that would be the only way to get it right now. So maybe one day that will change. Someone will develop an app that you can just upload a picture and it'll spit out all that information in whatever weave or ring size that you want. And it will just be easier to make inlays. And I know that would stop. There are some people who they custom design inlays for people. They help people make their inlays. And so a program like that would, put that part of their business out of business, but I don't know how much business they actually get doing that. And I think that it's more important to have a tool for the community. And even, here's the thing, right? With that, people will pay $1 to have access to it, right? They'll pay $1, or they'll pay $5 for a one-time download or something. 3 folks stood above the rest. Many were acceptable. 1 required 3 reattempts to get something worth weaving. Oh man. I could guess at all of those. I don't know if I'd get them right, but I could guess at who had the top 3 and who was the worst. But you know that I know that you know that I know that, so no sense in smearing someone's reputation who's not here to defend themselves. Yeah. So, for the flag I'm currently working on, right? The big issue is that I did not plan this out. That is why this has taken me so long. I've been working on this off and on for 2 decades now. I started probably in 2005 when I was stationed at Fort Polk, maybe 2006, after going to Finnegans Wake every other weekend for a year. And so this was poorly planned on my part, and hence why I'm weaving it one ring at a time. What I'm working off of is this, right? And I'm just kind of eyeballing everything and adjusting as time goes on. So, because of my mistake here and how long this has taken me to correct, I really think that a program where you throw a picture at it and it spits out all the information you need is necessary. So, like I said, maybe one day. If I win the lottery, I'll definitely do it. But I would have to play the lottery to win. And I do not do that. Because I never win. I always just lose money. I don't gamble either. Like, I'll do I'll bet with a friend on something, hey, I bet I could do this. $10 I can shoot something across the field or whatever, right? But I will never. There's a casino being built here where I live. Terrible idea, but I'll never go gamble there. I'll go check it out, go to dinner or whatever, but I'll never sit down at a table to gamble anything. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when that casino gets put into place. My understanding is that casinos don't reduce crime or increase crime, but they change the type of crime that is happening. John said, you do the yearly subscription, pays for 1 play per game, and when you win, you get a piece of mail with a check. Nice. So instead of people, I don't know, instead of carjackings or something, we'll have like prostitution increasing or something. Can you do stuff like belts and stuff like that? Yes, I can. Here, there's some right here. Flog Molly for the win. This is called Interwoven 4-in-1. That is the name of the weave. And I've got 2 Japanese 12-in-2 belts here. All right, there's a dashing belt buckle, and then some and then this one. I love this belt buckle. This is also Japanese 12-in-2. Just a dope shield belt buckle. But yeah, I've got a bin of belts and guitar straps that are down here in the basement. Because I'm going to... the name of the first one is called Interwoven 4-in-1. It is a weave by Dr. T from the old Ringlord forum, which no longer exists. There's a forum I would have picked up and paid for to continue. But yeah, don't get me started on the deletion of the Ringlord forum, because I get filled with righteous anger. It was a 20-year-old resource that got deleted. It was ridiculous. Anyway, take my blood pressure meds after this. Dr. T, very famous individual on the Ringlord forum from back in the day, made some killer stuff. And that was a weave that he invented. Why did they do it? Yeah, exactly. I'd like to know. Like good cop, bad cop investigating someone, except it's bad cop, and they're not suspects. We can just beat them, right? I would love to find out. Can still phantom surf it? We'll get you the links later to do such. No way. But you can't post to it or anything? I'll copy that whole thing and remake it. They can sue me. I don't care. Deleting it was rude. Anyway, all right. So, where am I here? All green next couple of rows. Sweet. That makes it easier. So, okay. Little by little, this piece will get done. And now that the saddlebags... Oh, I know what I was saying. Okay. Sir, what happened to the beard? I cut it off. The amount of damage my beard had, it was really unreasonable to continue trying to grow it out, right? I had a section in here that was all burned off by a heat comb. And I thought, like, I wasn't sure what was going on. And then it just started to make this hole in my beard. So, correct it to the next not files that are scattered about, and Write software will grab the packets and rebuild it to view, but won't allow changes to it. Okay. Game on. I don't have... Well, I'm about to get a tax return. We had someone talking with me about Ender 3s last night and how I should get one. And what I could... how I could get access to one fairly easily, right? And I said, oh, I've got a tax return coming. I will grab a 3D printer with that, right? But then I realized that I already spent the portion of my tax return that was allotted for spending on advertising, and so I won't be getting an Ender 3 anytime soon. Yeah, so I don't know how much it would cost to rebuild the Ringlord forum. I don't know if that stuff is proprietary to them. I don't think it would be. I don't know. I'm in a different country. I'm going to do whatever I want until someone tells me otherwise. Anyway. But yeah, had a big, just like missing patch in my beard. And I was like, all right. That beard was it only took me 2.5 years to grow it. I can regrow it fairly quickly. 2.5 years is nothing. So the Male Artisans website is another thing that I wish would get resolved. From what I understand, it is in stasis for forever. So there is some legal complications that don't allow it to be sold or something. Something is going on to where it can't be updated, and the people who are involved are unwilling to part with it and give it to someone else to update. So I don't know if there's just not enough money involved. I don't know. I don't know who runs it. I think that was another sad breakdown of a resource. Fortunately, it is still up and you can go search it and everything. Or no, you can go and scroll page by page for what you're looking for, because you can't search anything on there. It'll come up with a 404 or something. But yeah, that's another resource that was abandoned. Which is, it is what it is. I think chainmailers.com is trying to build out a lot of what the resources were on both the Ring Lord and Male Artisans, but I haven't checked on them in a while. It's like I have a hard time posting to my social media daily, much less going to a forum and posting, which I feel bad about because it's a good project. Okay. All this talking makes me thirsty. Where are we on here? Wait, did I screw that up? I sure did, didn't I? Oh, it's okay. All right. So, you can get on without those resources, but the fact that one isn't usable and one is gone is... I don't understand the situation surrounding it. All I know is that it sucks for the end user. From what you would think it could be is why spend time building something that could be deleted like TRL. From what I would think it could be is why spend time building something that could be deleted like TRL. I'm not following. Why spend time building something like Male Artisans if it can be... Like, TRL made a decision to delete their forum on their own after they purchased the company. They just didn't want to maintain it. I don't know why. cutting business costs, maybe. So like, why would you just help build something like TRL Forum then? Oh, yeah. No, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's pissed. Not that my contributions were meaningful on there at the time. Right? Because I was young and stupid and thought I knew something. I didn't, but... So... My limited contributions were a couple of posts of stuff I made and... I don't know, probably some stupid-ass comments somewhere. But other people... You know, they dedicated their time to it. And just... The amount of information hidden in the TRL forum that you could find was just overwhelming. Like, it was around for 20 years. And yeah, Facebook and social media kind of kneecapped the participation on there. But even then, right, it was still a huge resource. So, it is what it is. I can't do nothing about it. I'm not in charge. Okay, so right here, I was supposed to put some gold right here, but I'll correct that later. Oops. Add some more green over here. All right. So my thought process on, resources and everything is that everything I learned about chainmail, I learned for free. So I will pass on everything I know about chainmail for free. To the point where I made an app for people to download to all the free resources that they could get to. There are plenty of people who have their own little tutorials that they sell, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you do go buy a tutorial from someone, don't share the information in that tutorial, just FYI. So, but even as free of information as I give away, right, if something happens to me and the MailWorks app gets taken down from Google and Apple, because no one wants to take it over, right, that's just life. But if something happened to me and someone were to take it over, I would be 100% okay. The arm pads are some, what do you call them? They are the As Seen on TV arm pads. And the foam that came with them was crapping out. And so I put some leather over it and I stamped it with a chainmail pattern to make it cool and to play with my chainmail leather stamp. Thank you for sharing the live stream. I appreciate that. Please share, tap the screen, hit the like button, hit the copy link button. It puts me out on the For You page and brings a few more people in here. And so they kind of work. They're, you know, I thought, oh, here's what the issue was. I was sitting on my elbows, and I was getting like this dry patch of gross skin. And so to help alleviate that, long sleeves and armrests. So they don't really fit on this desk, but I've kind of made them work. Yeah, the as seen on TV stuff that you can find at CVS and Walgreens. And they do make other higher end armrests, and if you need some armrests, go look for some if armrests are something you could really benefit from, you don't have to get the as seen on TV ones. They're kind of bunk, but you're gonna ask if I get imprints from the leather. Oh yeah. You find it so funny when you get an imprint on your arm after working on pig pieces? Yeah. Yeah, if I'm not wearing a long sleeve, I'll get the whole, oh, I fell asleep on a tennis racket kind of. On big pieces, not pig pieces. Gotcha. Big difference. So, there is no reason for me to have them. I was just, trying to protect my arms when I don't wear long sleeves down here. And most of the time I do wear long sleeves down here because I'm in the basement and it's pretty much cool all the time down here. So, unless I really get moving, or if I'm like fighting a weave, that happens too sometimes. Joys of trying to type with a toddler. Ah, yes. I remember those days. I think this song is a little loud. So, I think what I want is if I do that. No, not that. This. There. That. Okay. I'm just guessing where the rings go. I don't know at this point. This kind of slopes down over here now. So, and that is, oh, there's a W here. Okay. We're getting somewhere. I don't really know where, but come back here, ring. Yeah, what? There was a picture I had the other day. I was trying to eat with my kid. We had like pizza rolls or something, and he's sitting in my lap, and I'm taking a picture of us. And so like, I'd just gotten home from work or something, because I was still in my uniform. And just, he's so little, sitting on my lap, eating pizza rolls or apple slices. I don't know what it was. But you can't eat with children in peace. or do anything, which is fine. Type on your phone, look at your phone, go to the bathroom, none of that. Can't do any of that by yourself when you have a toddler. Super fun. I wouldn't change it for the world, though. Now he's 9 and independent, and we're getting to the stage where, he knows more than us or something. I don't know. He's getting there. He does try to help now, which is adorable. Nice. My child's biggest issue, I think, right now is he doesn't like school. He thinks it's boring. He doesn't like homework. He thinks that's boring. Because he wants to be playing video games 24/7, 365. So it's like, no, you have to learn to spell and do basic math, buddy. So I had to fight with him. He's got to read 20 books a year, 20 books this year, and then take quizzes on them. Which I don't know how I feel about it. I don't remember having to take quizzes on any books I read, but I was an avid reader when I was his age. He doesn't care for reading, and I think mostly it's because he has video games which are more entertaining, and the stuff that he has access to read doesn't really entertain him. It's not very interesting what he picks out, right? And that's his fault because he picked out like American destroyers talking about the ships. So he read a 40-page book on naval vessels. Like, okay, that is a book that you can take a quiz on. So don't let me stop you, but I don't know why he picked that book. But yeah, he was pitching a fit earlier when I made him sit down to read. He does try to help now, which is adorable. Yeah, okay. I think I read that comment. But yeah. All right. This is the last of the green rings. It's not going to last, right? This one container here. I'm not going to be able to finish this with this color. This is another mistake I made. If anybody is still here from when we were talking about mistakes I made on this inlay. I have multiple different colors of green. This is the latest color, which you can't really tell the difference at all on the cameras, but it's readily apparent, right? So anyway, what's going to happen is I'm going to use up the rest of this green on here, and then I'm going to order some more green, and whatever I get, that's going to be the green that I finish this inlay with. And across the top, if I have enough of the gold, I'll just order some more black rings, and then the bright aluminum rings, and I'll do the, what do you call them? They're like, at the top of a tapestry, the part that goes over the rod that hangs it on the wall, right? I will make some of those with what I have. We need to spruce up our ring pile here. Grommets. No, it's the part of the top of the tap. Well, okay. Yeah, like if the rod went through the grommets at the top of a tapestry or a curtain rod to hold it into place, right? Similar idea. The part that's gonna the part that the inlay is gonna hang from, I'll just make it out of black, silver, and gold, and no green, because I'll be out of that color of green, and it won't match anyway, and so. Like, I would go get the inlay I did for... I had some engineered plastic rings that were black, white, and clear. And, you know, I really should have thought it out because I had these black, white, and clear rings. I should have made like a black and white skull and crossbones. Because who doesn't like pirates, right? What did I make? I made an orca, okay? The walls are blue in my basement. So I've got this orca inlay, and what I want to show you, I used on that inlay, the just stretches of chainmail across the top that attach to the rod that hold it to the wall, right? But the clear rings on that, they have a tendency to crack, and so I have a tendency to not touch that inlay at all. And because I don't have any more, and if any of them break, then I would end up having to order more from the Ring Lord, which I don't want to do. Speaking, okay, let me finish my statement. The clear engineered plastic rings from the Ring Lord have to go in an oven for it's like 15 minutes at 250 degrees, and it heals the cracks they develop when you weave with them. So I stuck the whole inlay in the oven at 250 for probably like 45 minutes. Just let them soak in there. And they don't melt or anything. Their melting temperature is pretty high. And it doesn't stink too bad. But I don't want to move the inlay from where it's hanging because I don't want to break any of those clear engineered plastic rings. Nice chainmail. Thank you, SETI. But speaking of ordering things from the Ring Lord, I was working on a coif the other day, and I ran out of rings, and I went to go order some more, and they are out of stock. And as a lot of people are aware, it takes them a long time to get that stuff back into stock, if ever. So now I might have another half-finished coif that I don't know what I'll do about that. Wrap some 18 gauge wire into coils and cut it myself. Perhaps. Looking clean and tidy. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I forgot what my face looked like. When I shaved my beard, I was like, oh, wow, hey, look at me. All right. So, yeah. I could get the ring size from another ring manufacturer, but I don't know if anybody else makes machine cut stainless steel, to be honest. I think it's just the Ring Lord. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure everyone does higher end saw cut, which would be fine, but it's expensive and I don't want to put much more money into this coif, and machine cut is what all the rings are already, and it would just look weird. And so, how are you, Sir Guido? All right. Anyway, I will. What I should do is call them and ask them if they are going to restock that size at all. Because I don't know what their plan is moving forward. I've heard that they were using up a lot of the stock that they had purchased when they bought the company. And then stuff being made after that is being prioritized somehow. I'm not sure how. But I don't know if that's true. so I shouldn't spread dirty rumors. But I hope that they get whatever they need to do done, and then refill all of their ring sizes and everything. I can do one more row of green. So if I have to go and make the rings myself, I'll have to get the appropriate size mandrel and hand cut them all, which I've done that before, but I think my allergies are acting up. We had some severe wind here recently, the last several days, and of course it brings with it a ton of crap. But it is what it is. So, oh, here's a thing for celebration. Before I popped on, I was at like 6,400 follows. I'm trying to get to 10,000. So if you're not following, please help me to get to 10,000. Follow, like, and share. And once I'm at 10,000, then I won't have this camera over here. I'll have my webcam and my overhead cam while I'm streaming, and that will make things a little easier on me. So I did not think that we would get to 10,000 anytime soon, but I had a video pop off and do really well, and so I'm much closer to my goal than I was a month ago. But we're doing lives and making steady progress towards, I think I was a little over 2,000 before my video started taking off, and then just started amassing likes and follows, which was pretty cool. And with this platform, not any of these, with this one, like there's no telling what views are fake, like what your viewer count is, or whether or not your likes are faked, but I'm pretty sure that comments are mostly real. Because I know that certain other platforms, like the Face platform, has been caught faking their views multiple times. So I don't know how many on the Clock app are real or fake, but regardless, that post that is out doing well, more people have seen my work from that than ever on social media before. So that was fun. It's pretty cool. I've always said, we'll be working at this for 10 years, and we'll be working really hard at this, and in 10 years' time, we'll be an overnight success. So, yeah. We'll just keep going. Actually, my goal for this year, finish all the basement projects, and get several sets of tools that I need. Finish getting my setup for riveting rings. Get my setup for anodizing rings. I've got a welder for welding rings. Should make some videos with that. And then whole bunch of other fun stuff, right? Specific to chainmail. think that getting all that done, getting all the projects down here done, and getting all, getting everything set up so that I can basically make whatever I want is a decent goal to have for this year. Between that and the motorcycle project, which, if you don't know what the motorcycle project is, I'll tell you. I've got one saddlebag wrapped in chainmail for my motorcycle. I've got the second saddlebag almost done. I got to start lacing everything together, and it's cold here the next couple days, so hopefully it will give me some time to finish it down here in my basement. So the saddlebags will be covered in chainmail. I'm going to make a motorcycle bib for the gas tank, or a gas tank, chainmail and leather gas tank bib for the gas tank. I'm going to wrap the toolkit in chainmail, and then I want to take the front and rear fenders, the side panels, and the gas tank and hydro dip them in a chainmail pattern I'll make on the computer. And then once I have that done, then it'll be time to enhance the performance of the motorcycle itself. So get something a little faster. So if I can get all the leather and chainmail work done this year on the motorcycle, finish all the projects in my basement, and get myself set up for welding, anodizing, riveting, right? All the forms of chainmail that, you can make pretty much. Then I will be a happy camper. The only thing I don't want to do, I don't want to anodize aluminum rings at all, ever. That's a chemical anodization, and it does not look like something I want to have near my house. I think I'm making a mistake here. So this comes round. What if we did? Okay. So and once I am a full-scale chainmail production shop, I'll start doing custom requests and making my own product lines. And I've got a lot of really large art projects that I want to do. So it'll be fun. I think those are, good goals to have so that I can make cooler and cooler things. I don't know how many inlays I'm going to do. I think I calculated the size of this inlay out, and I think it's going to be finished at 40,000 rings or something, which is ridiculous. So I have a lot of time left on this particular piece. But every little bit counts, and if we work on it for a couple of weeks, we can see some progress. I'm over the halfway point, I think, if I remember correctly. So I will probably be working on this streaming for the next couple of weeks. Who knows? I'll actually probably find something to distract me. I'll be like, oh, shiny. And then I'll do something that I shouldn't be focused on. So the only other thing I have to do is I do have some bracelets that I've got to finish up here pretty soon. So it'll be good to get those done. Here we go. Other than that, it's just, those are the only other project that have like a timeline on them. But even then, if I don't get them done, it's not the end of the world. All right. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I got those bracelets and then I have a bunch of necklaces that I have to make. There's no real timeline on them, but it's like stuff that I sell, and so I would rather have them done sooner rather than later, so that I'm not just sitting here with no money and no car and no girlfriend and no life and no hobbies and no personality. Wait. Hang on. But no, I would like to get those things together to put them up for sale. But other than that, it's, you know, it's free for all as to what projects I work on when. So we'll see what happens. There's plenty of stuff to do. I haven't even started. Okay, so let me give you an example of like what my life is like. So I started the saddlebag project back at the beginning of Christmas break, and I said to myself, I bet I can have this project done in 2 weeks, right? Thinking I could get both the saddlebags done because most of the chainmail was made already. Right? Some of it wasn't. Like the diamond pattern I had to put in. But the first saddlebag was a learning lesson. The second saddlebag is going much faster. Right? Which, you know, that's probably sounds correct for any given project when, you know, you're merely guessing at what you're doing. So from Christmas break until, I don't know, I think I got the first saddlebag done a couple weeks ago. But then I got really sick and had to take a break and haven't had a chance to get back to it yet. So it took much longer than what I thought to get the first one done. So getting the second one done, it's coming along. Getting the gas tank bib done, there's another thing I've never made. Right, so figuring that out is going to be interesting. So I got what is on? I've got the gas tank gauge that tells me whether or not it's empty on one side. The hole for to pour the gas into the tank, and then I've got a center console thing that has my speedometer on it, on the Road King. So I've got to form a piece of leather around all of that conforms to the gas tank, and then put chainmail on top of that, and then lace up the edges with leather and black leather lacing. Right. And I don't know how to do that. Like, I've never done it, so I don't have like a set pattern. It's just going in and figuring it all out. But as with the saddlebags, the most of the chainmail is already made, right? I just have to go and put it all together, which took me a lot longer than I thought it would initially. So, lesson learned, I guess. Is it all green under here? No. Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me fix this before I go much further. How long? Whack. Trying to make it so that it looks like these lines of gold cross over each other is very difficult. Yeah, okay. 3 is correct. And especially when you're freehanding it, because a lot of stuff just ends up getting reworked or repositioned. Alright, did I finish my story? Doing all the work on the motorcycle is going to take longer than I had planned initially, because I thought I could like just go and do it, and that's not how it's going to end up working out. Because, you know, it never works out that way. Alright, glad we're all on the same page. So, I don't know what project I'm going to work on next. I want to sit down and work on this Finnegans Wake flag during the day, so I can really get all the details smoothed out. Because working it on stream is great. Gives me a chance to come down here for an hour and a half or 2 hours and get some work done regardless, right? But most of the time, I'll get done working, and then I'll come back the next day and look at it and go, oh, I need to redo this and make it a little differently. And I'm freehanding it. I'm trying to do my best. But the reality is just that. And that, that may be the best way to do it, right? Weave the rings and then go back, and because I don't have a pattern I'm working off of, get the material down and then worry about placement later. I don't know. But I have not had a chance to work on this during the day for quite some time, actually. So, a lot of other projects. Finished up a big jelly cube, got that sent off today. I made another smaller jelly cube, and I have some more rings coming in to make jelly cubes with, right? Like, these are this is 7 by 7. And it's probably the smallest size I'd make for sale, right? Smaller than this, and it's not the same. This is a 5x5, and like it's still fidgety, but it's not. 7x7 you can make. It took me what, 8 hours to make. There's 1,651 rings in this, and like I don't know. There's something about like when you make something, you want it to have all the. What in the world was that? Maybe it's just someone walking upstairs. That was a weird noise. Like, okay, my point is this cube is not fidgety enough for me, and so I want to make them 7x7x7 as the minimum size I would sell, because I want whoever receives this to have like the full jelly cube experience, right? And I don't think 5x5x5 or 6x6x6 delivers, right? And we're not talking about inches, we're talking about rows. There's 7 rows. Each row is made up of 2 layers. So there's 5 rows in this one on each side and 7 rows in this one on each side. And it looks like 14 rows of rings, but it's each row is 2 layers, so it's 7. So it's like I can do that, or I can make one large. I think there will be enough rings for me to do a 15x15x15. I think I have the calculator pulled up. I'll tell you how many rings that is. What was it? I just looked at it. Yeah, okay. It's 18,299 rings to make a 15x15x15 row jelly cube. Right? That would be very large. That would be, this is 7, so that much more, but it grows on 3 sides exponentially, right? So I can make one large cube, or I can stick with trying to sell these smaller cubes. There was some interest when on that video that went viral. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I'd rather make one large cube personally. But that's, like, a lot of people wanted cubes. I'd love for everyone to have a cube. I obviously can't make enough cubes to satisfy the demand. So I outsourced. I tagged a bunch of other chainmail artists and was like, here, go talk to these people and see if they'll make you one. And so hopefully people got a few jelly cubes, and hopefully the people that I tagged made a few sales or got some new commission work, right? But that's why I have my website, right? If you go to my website, mailworks.com, it's all chainmail themed apparel. It's print products. I love having chainmail themed stuff. I got a bunch of blankets and a couple hoodies, and even if I'm never, like, if I don't ever get rich off of running my website, I'm fine with that, because at least I will have cool chainmail themed clothes, even if nobody else does, because chainmail doesn't go out of style, and you can wear it for as long as you want. So, but I realized early on that I could not make all the chainmail that people wanted. So now I have a company where they can go and get a chainmail shirt in like a jersey or a hoodie or a button down, or, you know what I mean? And in multiple different chainmail patterns. All right. We've got to differentiate these two lines here a little better. There's a yellow line going this way and one coming down from up here. I wonder if I did that. Actually, that kind of makes more sense to do it that way. Hang on. This is what I'm talking about, right? Like you set the rings in place, and then you go back and look at it, and you're like, oh, I need to shift all of this over a little bit. And because I was young and dumb and didn't do all my prep work that I should have done, that is why I am now here stumbling along on this project. There's plenty of prep work that can go into an inlay, and the more you do, the better off you'll be. So we were talking about that earlier, making a program for chainmail artists to just be able to upload a image and then pick what weave they wanted it in, and the program would theoretically spit out how many rings in each color that you needed, along with a gridded out pattern of where each ring goes. So I know they have it for other things. I have been told they have it for like cross stitch or crochet or something, but maybe that's who we should go talk to. Cross stitch and crochet people. Hey babe, how you doing? Swoon. All right. I think that delineates this a little better. And if you can't like pick up what I'm doing from here, right? You can kind of see it. This line goes this way, and this line's coming down here. You can kind of start to see it. All right. I don't know if I've ever heard this song. The music is from Pretzel Rock, right? Because I'm streaming to multiple platforms at any given time, all the music's got to be copyright safe. I guess there were other songs with lyrics, but this is the first one that I've noticed tonight. All right. Okay. So is anybody hanging out? Has anybody made chainmail before? Are you all expert chainmail artists laughing at while you watch me struggle? Sometimes it be like that. All right, who was here at the beginning? Anyone? Because at the beginning I told the story of what happened to me today, which was that the low tire indicator came on in my truck, and so I went and checked, and I had 3 tires that were low, and I got my little compressor out, And I was given this compressor by my grandma from when I first started learning how to drive some 25 odd years ago. And the little compressor that could made it through the first and second tire, but then it died when I tried to fill up the third, and I didn't realize, and I went and checked the pressure, and I had gone from like 25 pounds down to 7, and my tire was looking very flat. And so the compressor that has gone with me everywhere. You were indoctrinated into opening and closing rings. Does that count? Yeah, that counts. So the compressor that I took everywhere that has filled up my tires countless times after 25 years finally died. So I had to go buy a new compressor today. And that was right as I was getting ready to leave the house to go pick up my kid. And so, of course, my compressor dies. My tire's all of a sudden flat. I went to one neighbor's house. They didn't answer their door. I went to my other neighbor's house, and he used to work for AMC. And so he's got all the tools that you would ever need. He's one of those neighbors. Very, very handy guy to have around. Yeah, okay. The poor little compressor that could, yes. So, this compressor took several. It was not fast, right? Like if you were low on tire pressure, right? You'd hook up the compressor, and you'd take a smoke break, and by the time you were done with your cigarette, 5-7 minutes later, then your tire would be full. Even if you have your truck running, like I did. So, I'm hoping the new compressor that I got runs a little faster. But I'm going to call my grandma, and I'm going to tell her thank you for her little compressor taking care of me for so many years. And my grandma's like a type 2 diabetic that's 1,000 years old. And she's getting hard of hearing. But she's still chugging along pretty well. So and it's weird too, right? Like I said, like I don't feel like this compressor was a part of my family. I just feel like this compressor was an item that I have carried around the country with me for forever now. So it was it's gone. And I am a little, I don't want to use the word upset. I'm not upset over a compressor, but it's like there is a sense of loss. That was the highlight of my day. I did talk to my dad for a couple hours today, so we don't live in the same parts of the country. He lives far, far away in the Pacific Northwest. And he was telling me, my dad's a big mountain biker. And he's having some knee problems, so he's telling me when you talk to older people, they have a tendency to discuss all their health problems with you. And he's telling me all about his knee and how he might have to get a partial knee replacement and how he wants to go ride this one touring bike that he has a bunch of packs for. He just wants to load it up and go ride from city to city Or from campground to campground. I don't know. That was the other highlight of my day. Talking to my dad. So that's looking pretty good. I might need to I'm going to move this over a little more. We'll see. Because this is coming down. That is the curve here. So I need to redo this kind of deal because it's not. I also forgot to put a bunch of gold, yellow coming up over here. I'll fix it tomorrow. It'll be fine. The important thing is we got material down. We just got to get all the rings in the right place. All right. I should go watch some Bob Ross and start imitating him. Be like, and the happy little ring goes here. And just put a tiny yellow ring over here. I don't know. That would probably be annoying after a while, but. Hey Richard, how you doing? What's going on, man? All right. Yeah, the whole fun of this is Once you get material down and you get stuff kind of in the right place, that's when you can see if that is where you're going to keep that ring, right? Does that make sense? Probably, maybe, kind of. Because I don't have a pattern, I have to guess where all the rings go and try and make it look like what I'm trying to emulate here. Okay, working on cubes for that commission. Right on. Right on. I finished that. I was working on this cube last night on stream and I finished it today, earlier. Alright. I'm changing that song because I don't like it. Oh, wow. I just bent that ring out of shape. Fortunately, aluminum is pretty forgiving, so as long as you're gentle with it, we should be able to put it back into place. And this is not a project that's going to require super perfect closures or anything. No one's going to be wearing this. Right, of course I want to do as good a job as I can, but I think it's closed up pretty well. Regardless of the fact that I bent the crap out of it. You're making a larger one for your kids to play with? Very cool. I was just talking about making a 15 by 15 by 15. Because I've got some rings coming in that should allow me to make one that large, or make them into a bunch of smaller jelly cubes. I don't know. Your adult kids, they're worse than your little kids? Nice. Yeah, my 9-year-old comes down and touches everything and explores, and I try to make sure he doesn't break anything, and he can't play with the welder or anything like that, but he can, pretty much do whatever he wants within reason. And but yeah, he takes a little bit of interest. He comes down. He thinks what I do is cool, but he doesn't have the patience yet to sit and work on anything. So I've got some more wood projects for he and I to make over the summer. We did that last summer. And we didn't finish them all. But we're going to work on his craftiness. You had to give your daughter a 3x3 to play with? Like your adult daughter? That's funny. Your son has only one eye, so it makes it hard for him to do mail? Yeah. It would be very difficult lacking the depth perception. I had a friend who only had one eye in college. He lost it, he had cancer in his eye when he was born. How did your son lose his eye, if I might ask? I don't need to know your family's health. If you don't want to share it, that's fine. But if it is something you will share, please enlighten us. Snowy, thank you for the follow. Alright. What color am I grabbing here? Throw a couple green at this. Your son was born with congenital cataracts, had surgery first time at 9 days old. That's tough to have to go through with your kid. That needed to be black. Snowy, I'm making a giant inlay. And I will show you. We tried to keep it at the age of 17. He had decided to have it removed because he lost all sight. Uh-oh, I dropped the ring. So this is an inlay I've been working on for far too long, and I'm trying to finish it. I won't tell the whole story of why I'm making an inlay, but this is what it looks like. It says Finnegans Wake on it, and it was a bar that I used to go to back in the day. Thank you. Alright, now where am I at? It's coming along. Getting everything in the right place and have it looking correctly and matching and lining it all up without a pattern has been a challenge, but it's something. Your computer's too old to print out an inlay you want to do, but it's one you need a visual to make. Yeah, I recommend everybody use a visual to make their inlays with, because without it, you'll be on the struggle bus like me, and you don't want to do that with your life, because it's a bad thing to decide to do this with your life, where you struggle unnecessarily. I'm going to say that needed to be all black. So I'm going to make that change right now. Oh, you notice you do one ring at a time in the jelly cubes? You do them a layer at a time? Yeah, no, I do them one ring at a time. I do most of my weaving one ring at a time. I don't do any of that fancy schmancy open a bunch of rings and close a bunch of rings and then weave them all together. And if I tried to do them layer by layer, I wouldn't have enough room to work with. So yeah, I made that video that took off, and like a bunch of people said that they do it the way I told them not, the way I was saying not to do it. What am I doing? So, who am I? What is life? By all means, please make chainmail any way you please. I am not the arbiter of how to properly make chainmail. I was just flustered because I had started making the cube in a manner different than I normally did, and I was like, no. It's always the off-the-cuff videos that are, you know, not planned for at all that seem to do well. So, and videos with jelly cubes in them. But I've kind of used up my jelly cube mojo. I've pimped them out enough. Like, I'm not tired of making jelly cubes, but I don't want to make any more right now. So, where are we at here? Oh, hey. All right. It is 10 o'clock. So, if you were here at the beginning, right, we got a little bit done down here underneath the G, and we'll get some more done later. I would stay. But it is a school night, so I have to get up early tomorrow, and I got to go make sure everything is done upstairs, and then doom scroll for a little bit myself before checking out for the evening. All right, if you don't happen to care for the view on TikTok, right, please follow so I can get to the 10,000 followers necessary for using their streaming software. Or you can go to any of the other main streaming platforms, and I'm there under the same name. So please do go follow me on other channels. That does help me out over there. And in case of this app going away, right, you will be able to one day see me finish the Finnegans Wake inlay. Maybe. Hopefully. The angle on Twitch makes me look so handsome. Thank you. All right. I am all packed up. I want to leave these rings over here, as this is the project I am currently working on, so it can stay on the desk. Okay, so if you're new to hanging out with me, I try to get on here 8:30 to 10. Haven't been on much lately because I was sick for a couple weeks. Excuse me. My name's Sean. I run mailworks.com. I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories, right? And I don't have any in reach, but it's printed items with chainmail, clothing items with chainmail printed onto them. Bunch of different weaves, different colors, fun stuff like that. I am always busy making more designs. So if you want to support me and continue to see my lovely shining face, please go to my website, which is myusername.com, mailworks.com, and get yourself something nice from the store, because that helps support me and allows me to continue to do this. If you want to learn how to make chainmail, go to the link tree in my bio. There's a link to the Mailworks app available on Google and on Apple. Inside that app, it's a free app, are all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started making chainmail. Where to find ring manufacturers or chainmail supplier manufacturers, where to find tutorials, where to find other chainmail artists, where they hang out, and a whole bunch of other stuff, and more to come. Still adding artists, we're adding a scale mail designer, and one day I want to try and figure out how to add irregular grid painter. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. So it's a free app. Go download it if you want to learn more about making chainmail, or if you want to go and purchase a chainmail item. I have some stuff for sale right now. It's largely bracelets, but the artists in the artist section, they take custom requests, they do quality work, and if you're looking for a specific piece or want something custom made, that's where I would send pretty much everyone. All right, so I'll be back on probably 8:30 to 10 tomorrow night, Central Standard Time, and we'll work some more on this Finnegans Wake inlay. Probably I'm gonna try and make that like my streaming project, and then like I got a bunch of other projects I got to work on during the day. So the daytime projects may take over the streaming projects. The streaming projects may take over the daytime. You love the cup and shirt you got from me? Right on. So yeah, go check out mailworks.com and support this guy by getting yourself something nice, or something nice for someone who loves Renaissance festivals, or knights in shining armor, or book talk girls, or book girls that love, like fantasy novels. Yeah. So you're very welcome, Richard. I hope everything works out for you. All right. It's 10 o'clock. I got to get going. You all have